And it's that the catchphrase that in the wake of the rebellions, Judaism shattered. That was it. That was what people really didn't want to hear. And I remember the reception to that. The first time I presented that idea in some inchoate forum in Jerusalem in 1999. And it was actually probably the most satisfying talk episode in my career, where the room just went up in flames. People started screaming at me. The offensive part was the assumption that Judaism as a system, as a religious system, could shatter, could be damaged. This was like really difficult to hear. I mean, it's interesting because everyone knows that it did in modernity, you know, and things like that. So for modern Jewish historians to say that, you know, in Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, Vienna, Prague, and even Szeged in Hungary in the 19th century, the rate of intermarriage between Jews and Christians was like 60%, and the rate of conversion from Judaism was, you know, massive. And to talk about the dissolution of organized Jewish life, it's just a fact. You know, it's a plain fact. You can't argue about it. You could condemn it, but you can't argue about it. I'm making a similar sort of claim in connection to what happened in antiquity, that there were periods when it was just really bad to be Jewish. And in those periods, many Jews responded to those, you know, external constraints, which were bad. I condemn them. I condemn those external restraints. They were bad restraints. The Romans were bad people. But many people, Jews, responded to them by cutting the ties. What choice did they have? You know, give me a break. What choice did they have? I still think, you know, what was going through the minds of the people of Sepphoris? There's no evidence that there was a Greek settlement in Sepphoris or that the Romans colonized Sepphoris. When Sepphoris changed its name sometime probably before the Bar Kokhba revolt, to Dio-Caesarea, and began putting images of all things, the Capitoline Triad, on their coins. What were the city councilors thinking? Like, it would be nice to be sitting in on that conversation, where the city councilor said, well, until now we've had all this Hasmonean imagery on our coins. And yes, we've had the portrait of the emperor, but what can you do about that? And we have been known as Sepphoris, and then we mistakenly changed our name to Neronias, which we had to paper over pretty quickly. And then we became, you know, piously Arenapolis, city of peace, because of our failure to join the rebellion. And now we're going to be called Dio-Caesarea, Zeus and Caesar, you know, and we're going to advertise the Zeus bit as much as we advertise the Caesar bit. What are they thinking? You know, probably the thoughts may not be all happy, you know, to not see this as in some sense a response to the kind of intense pressure that Jewish corporate life was under in certain periods of Roman rule would be silly. And to think that the Jews responded to this intense pressure invariably by circling the wagons and intensifying their commitment to Torah and mitzvot is naive, it's silly. It's just, you know, read a history book. It doesn't work that way. You know, did every Christian who got caught allow themselves to become martyred? They did not. They poured the libation and they swore the oath. They got on with their lives. You know, so when under pressure, people do stuff. And the Romans were putting pressure on them. That is the beginning, middle, and end of the argument. Working as a historian means not just searching for. It is not the Foucauldian genealogy. You know, the trouble with the Foucauldian genealogy is that it really simplifies everything. That's also its strength. It is a Foucauldian genealogy which imagines sharp points of transition where one thing gives rise to something else. And I think is you know, pedagogically and heuristically often a highly effective way of presenting things. And it can also clarify your thought on an issue a lot. But then you have to go back to the actual mess.